Good morning. There's some things I want to show you this morning. Good job, kid. Now what I really want to show you is some of the hero content that I'm working on. Some videos that I'm working on that have taken more time to develop and I'm really proud of. I want to finish those up and show them to you, and I really want to do that today. I've been meaning to do that in the last week. Caught COVID again, some other things were going on. But I can't even think straight in this studio because of this. Here's my perspective from the desk. How do you even think? Before I can even think about moving on, I've got to handle some obstacles that are in my way. Plus, I've got another project that I want to show you about. And this is the second thing I'd like to get finished today. I'd like to rework this stand. It was not perfect as you saw in the previous video. I'd like to rework it, get this kind of off the list. But in order to do all of that, I've really got to take care of the obstacles that are in my way. What's kind of interesting to me lately is, what is an obstacle and what is a God redirect? What are the things that we need to just put our head down, do due diligence, and get after? And what are the things that we need to give up on because that ain't happening, God doesn't want it for us, we need to move on. We'll talk about that today. So I'm gonna have to do some cleaning up here. Now to the trained eye, you saw that I've gotten a new toy that's gonna help me be quite a bit more efficient in here. And I had to tear my old editing workhorse apart. She is no longer intact. The problem is, and the reason why I did that, was I built that thing 3 years ago. I was editing on this little laptop that was pretty cruddy, honestly, but it got me by for the level of videos I was doing. But once I started editing in 4K, those types of things, I had to upgrade my computer to something a bit more beefy. While it was fast as all get out, it had a port connection issue. Everything would slow down to a snail's pace, and it drove me crazy. And the entire time in my chat, on my cell phone, on Instagram, Diana Gladney and Joshua Verwers are chiming in there saying, hey, you should probably just get a Mac. It just works. And I'm not a Mac guy. I don't really dig the whole pay to play. If you want more data, you got it. Oh, I don't like that stuff. But they won me over. So I picked up a Mac. I gotta get rid of the old girl. Gotta save all the parts. I'm going to keep those. I'm going to save all the parts from the old computer just in case I need something in the future. And I'm going to edit off of this new machine. I think the unlock was not necessarily the machine, the Mini itself. It was the M1 that came along, the processing chip. And then I found an external hard drive that allows me to process and transfer at the same speeds, near same speeds, as the internal drive of the computer. Anybody looking to build a faster system using these Mac products, you're going to look into external hardware, and you're probably going to want to build your own, at least I recommend. Outside of the heat, which we can get into in later videos, outside of the heat that it produces, it is incredibly fast, and it's the only way this whole thing functions. Anywho, now that all of the obstacles are coming into view, let's knock them out. Let's get the computer set up and taken out of the way. Let's get everything streamlined. Let's get my Mac set up. Let's get everything flowing so that we can actually show you the hero stuff. Get to working on the hero stuff. Because I'm ready to do that. Let's get to cleaning. way, it kind of needs to get worse before it gets better. And I feel like that's really symbolic of how life and like whenever you're trying to be obedient to something that God's told you to do. If you can even hear me, the vacuum cleaner's running in the background. You have to get through it. I can see a little bit of progress over here on the table in the closet, and I'm excited because I'm gonna be able to do what I actually want to do eventually, but there's so much chaos going on in the floor. Gotta keep on pressing. In the middle, when the grind hits, when it doesn't look like it's gonna work out, gotta keep pressing, exhausting every opportunity. Was only a couple of seconds for you, but that was the entire day for me. Wowzer. Well, something happened the other day that got me to thinking about this whole concept, and I want to share it with you. And that's this. My friend Jim was getting ready to go back to Nepal, and so he told everybody over in Nepal, hey, I'm coming on, I think it was January 14th. He had a couple different dates to choose from, that the Lord kind of brought to mind through other people, through himself. And so he started to get all the stuff, his ducks in a row, got his tickets, got everything ready to go on the trip, went to get his 48-hour COVID test, and came back with a positive COVID test. And the thing was, he wasn't feeling sick. He didn't feel sick at all. He didn't have any of the symptoms, anything like that. And he was just like, what in the world am I supposed to do with all of this? And my pastor, Pastor David, said this. He said, go as far as your spirit-filled imagination will take you. If God's still putting ideas in your heart, or you think it's the Lord, chase them down as long as you have time and as long as you have the resources to do so, unless he needs to bring an increase. So we did. We called to every hospital, every clinic, everybody who had the PCR, RT, whatever it is. The one where you go to the lab, where it sends it off to the lab and gets the results back. We called everyone in 5 counties, and there was no one around who had the test and could get it back in that time frame. And so we knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that Jim wasn't supposed to leave that day. And we could, with good conscience, call Nepal and say, I know you have plans, and I know we've been going at it, and we believe that this was the date. This is not the date. We've exhausted every option. I think why I'm so excited about this is because it gives me a test. It gives me something. Obviously, if I knew it was demonic, I'm going to stand against that thing. We're going to push on through. But if I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, it gives me a testing system to try out and let God bless or not bless. Because he could very well have taken Jim's schedule and said, here's a immediate test that you could get and take to the airport and leave today. But it just didn't work out that way. So it's inspiring to me that on a day like today where I have things that I want to do, I want to work on a video for you guys, I'm going to do the best to get that done. However, there's so many things that came up between phone calls, cleaning, and that sort of thing. I didn't get to do necessarily what I wanted to do today, but I did what was in my mind, what filled my heart to do. Now, maybe those things weren't God words, so there wasn't that much importance on there, but I got to try it out. I'm really enjoying test driving this thing out. I want to do the water deal, but I want to do what God has for me each and every day all the more. I hope this is inspiring to you. This is the new way, the new testing system that I'm going to use for my life. I'm going to ask the Lord for a word. I'm going to move forward in that word to the fullest extent of my ability, and I'm going to let him guide me. I'm going to let Holy Spirit bring those things, those course corrections in real time so that I know, like Jim, that I'm not leaving on a plane today. I haven't failed. No demonic activity has stood against. I know that I'm in the perfect will of God because the other dates that he was given now come into play, and they're not arbitrary. You're being directed. There's nothing like knowing that you're in the perfect will of God. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow where we try this whole thing out again. I'll see you in the next one. I'm out. Alright. We'll do some filming, okay? I thought I was going to. I need to be showing the guns. Struggle through that one quite a bit.